when Rodgers told Pat McAfee that he doesn't know what his future holds, but that maybe it would be in Green Bay or maybe be somewhere else, but that he feels he could win another MVP, there was a window there into Aaron Rodgers and priorities. Number one, on the going somewhere else, I just found that to be completely distasteful. The Green Bay Packers have bent over backwards for you these last couple of years. They have shelved their future quarterback potentially in Jordan Love and said, basically, dude, you got to wait. They have bent over backwards to make sure you had all the guaranteed money that you wanted. They gave you at least some part of personnel say, some part of offensive say. They kowtowed. They broke. They said, fine, Aaron, you get what you want. And by virtue of them giving him a 3-year contract extension, pretty obviously, they want him for those 3 years. And here he is at the end of this season saying that he doesn't know if he wants to come back for them, which to me, it should be a decision of either I'm retiring or I'm returning to the Packers. I'm not leaving the door open to go somewhere else. You signed the extension. Nothing changed. Coach didn't change. Money didn't change. GM didn't change. Nothing changed. So that to me is so distasteful that you could hold a company, an employer, a front office, a franchise at gunpoint for all of your demands and then not fulfill your side of the bargain. They gave you 3 years. If you can't play football anymore, that's one thing, but you can't play football somewhere else. So that's the part that I focused on yesterday. But Gronk brings up a very interesting point. Why would it be, I think I could be an MVP somewhere else? Maybe it's here somewhere, maybe it's somewhere else. Why isn't it I want to win a Super Bowl? And I'll tell you why I think that is. I think that Aaron Rodgers is, this is certainly not breaking any news, is a really, 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 let me rephrase this. Aaron Rodgers thinks very highly of himself. He thinks he's great. He thinks he has the evidence that he's been great. He thinks that all of the people that don't think he's great have it wrong and don't understand. He doesn't understand the criticism towards him, and he feels like he's smarter and brighter and more worldly and more and deeper. He feels all of this about himself. I don't think there's a lot of humility when it comes to Aaron Rodgers and how he believes he's perceived. I think he believes he's not perceived as great as he is, and that people should recognize that he's done all of these amazing things, and he's got depth, and he's got perspective, and he's got context, and he does his research and, all that type of stuff. I think that Aaron Rodgers has always felt like people don't really understand how great I am. This might start back when he was lightly recruited out of high school and then drafted late in the first round and then sat behind Brett Favre and all of those things. I think, look, he has clashed with coaches. He has wanted more control. He has wanted more respect, all of these things. And I think Aaron Rodgers has a real difficult reality to contend with, which is for all of his greatness, what he believes he's great at, the barometer we all use is championships. And he can't match up with anybody with that. One's fine, better than none, better than Dan Marino. But 1 ain't 7. It ain't 5. It ain't 4. It ain't even 2. 1 is 1. And that one's a long time ago. And so if Rodgers is trying to match up with the Tom Bradys and the Joe Montanas and even the Peyton Mannings, he's not getting there. He's not getting a 4. He's not getting a 7. And he's not getting a 3. Even if the Packers were great this year and last year and next year, winning more than one of those as Super Bowls would probably be a lot. And I think Rodgers looks at his individual greatness and says, well, I've got the MVPs at least. That's where I can win arguments. And that's about individual success, because then I'm not tied to a defense that blows it, a special team that can't recover an onside kick, a bad coach. I'm not tethered to that stuff that I can't control. That's just about my value. And I think that's what he looks at. I think this is really interesting. Rodgers wants to be part of the equation, part of the conversation of the greatest of all time, because that's where he thinks he fits. But he doesn't have the rings. He has 4 MVPs. If he gets a 5th, that's where he thinks that his historical significance would lie. The Gronk's right. I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, what's a 5th MVP? What does it even matter to win MVP? Why would you think about it those terms? If you are Rodgers at the end of your career, wouldn't you just say, hey, man, I just want to get out of the door with a win here. I want one more time for the confetti to fall down. No, not really about that for Rodgers. For Aaron, it's the desperation of validation, which he's always been chasing. Validation. Validate me. I should have went to a big school. I should have been drafted higher. I shouldn't have had to wait behind Brett Favre. I should have had personnel control because look at you dunces. I should make more money. I should have won more. But he hasn't got any of that. So his validation comes from the most valuable player award. Where can I get another one of those? Because then people see my greatness. I don't want to go to some place where there's a great defense and I got to hand the football off 30 times. He might even resent that in Green Bay that they want to do that. That doesn't help me. I don't want to be a game manager. I want it to be about me. I'm validated. That's Aaron Rodgers right there in a nutshell. Gronk knocked it out of the park right there. He's right. He identified that. Who cares about an MVP? Why wouldn't you care about a championship and what that signifies? But that's not his bag.